Oh my goodness, guys. How are you guys doing? Was having all kinds of technical things going on with my computer today. Oh my goodness. Thing is, I've been dual booting my computer with like the a Linux Mint and Windows 7. And for those of you who don't know, there's lots of different Linux distros. Uh, Linux Mint and all these Linux distros are free and open source operating systems. It's a free and open source alternative to Windows, just like Firefox is an open source web browser. And yeah, there's lots of other open source programs, but it's an entire free operating system that you can download for free or uh, usually by some of the developers. They usually encourage you to donate some money to the continued development, but the operating system is offered for free, and it's also free. Uh, the source code is open and free to where you can are free to edit and modify and redistribute the source code. For those of you who aren't familiar with open source software, but the thing is, I was going to switch back from Linux Mint 12 to update to the newest version of Ubuntu, the Ubuntu 12.04, and I what I did, I deleted Linux Mint from my partition on the hard drive, and I thought that if I I didn't go ahead and install Ubuntu immediately, I just hadn't gotten around to it, and I knew it was going to take a while to do that, so I hadn't done that immediately. So you shouldn't delete stuff from your partition until you are ready to start installing and all that. So I had to do that today because I just left it on Windows. I left Windows on, and leave my computer on overnight, and then Windows wanted to do some updates to itself, and it does that in the middle of the night, and then it just restarts the computer by itself. That's one thing that why I don't like Windows. It doesn't do that on Ubuntu or Linux. Usually, whenever there are updates for the system, it will just give you a notification that there's new updates available, and then you can choose to update whatever you want to update when you want to do it, instead of the system just installing stuff like you don't even know what it is that Windows is installing on your computer. It's just saying that it's installing updates. But um, so yeah, it just did that automatically in the middle of the night, just restarted my computer. But it gets a grub error because grub is the boot system that you use for dual booting, to dual boot Linux and Windows. And so I got a grub error and I wasn't able to boot into any operating system. And then, so I had to install Ubuntu then just to be able to boot into any operating system. So I booted the old version of Ubuntu from a disk, and after I installed that, it would ask me if I wanted to update to the newest versions or upgrade to the version 12.04 is the new version of Ubuntu, the long-term release, which is really cool. The long-term service support, or LTS, long-term support, gives you a support for that version for 5 years, and plus you have community support, which is better support than you get for any other operating system. I mean, you don't even get support. What that means is like you get updates. It will support that a version of the operating system with like updates to the operating system. Uh, of course, with something like Apple Care, that gives you support for the hardware and the software, and this is just support for the software, but that's a longer support period than you ever get for even for Apple Care. So, um, so those are just some of the benefits of using Ubuntu. But then I had even more problems. I have my window open. I'm actually finally back in Windows, and just have it open to the web browser. Ubuntu.com is where you can download it. It's actually kind of easy to just, pretty easy. If you want to try it, even if you want to try it out, you can try it out from a live CD or a live USB without installing it on your hard drive. It's you just like download the image and burn it to a disk, and you have to create a partition on your hard drive and boot from the CD, and you can try it for free, or you can install it to your hard drive. And see, what the other thing that happened after that is, after I got it installed and restarted the computer to boot back into Windows, and I had trouble with that. I tried doing that, and well, then Windows wanted to do some updates. It updated the operating system, and then it wants to restart when it does updates. So it restarted, but then when it restarted, it gave me a blue screen of death. so I'm thinking about just trying to use Ubuntu more as often as possible. I've been using Windows mostly because there's some like games and programs that I already have installed on my Windows machine, as just so easier to use some of the programs that I'm already in, games and things on Windows that I already have installed on there, instead of using Linux. So, but there are plenty of free open source alternatives for all the programs that are on Windows, for most programs, and plenty of games. And now you have Valve's Steam client for games. There's not nearly as many games for the Linux version of Steam as there is on Windows right now. It's like maybe a little bit over 60 games or something, but it's still in beta, so I'm sure there'll be plenty more games that'll be added on later on after it gets out of beta. But and even their new Linux box, that's supposed to be a box that you connect to your TV or something, that they're developing and working on, that's going to be based on a Linux operating system. And well, I actually had several problems today with the blue screen of death, because I try restarting the computer, get a blue screen of death, try restarting the computer again, and then it boots up fine, and then I tried restarting again to switch back to the normal, to get it to boot up properly, to get it out of safe mode, because it will boot up into safe mode after you have a blue screen of death. And so I try restarting again, and then I get another blue screen of death. And so I've finally been able to get back into Windows without a blue screen of death. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to try to use Linux more often, because wow, after you've experienced Windows, Ubuntu seems terribly more better. More better, that's not grammatically correct, but it seems more stable, for one thing. Yeah, and like I said, it's free, so I mean, usually it doesn't necessarily mean free of price. It means like free to edit and modify and redistribute, but as it's also free to download, and all the updates that you get for the operating system are free as well. Okay, so I'm gonna talk to you guys later since this video is getting a little bit long. Okay, it's been a long day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.